Welcome, everyone. It's the Crypto Lark. Very excited today to have the chance to speak with Ben, the CEO of Bybit. Ben, how's it going?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very excited to have the chance to speak with you because obviously Bybit is such a popular platform these days for longing and shorting Bitcoin. And, a lot of people have a lot of questions. So we're going to be diving into a lot of those questions about, how you help protect people's funds and future listings and all that fun kind of stuff. But before we jump into all those juicy questions, you used to live in New Zealand. We were talking about that just a little bit before we started recording this chat. So can you just tell everyone a little bit about that? Because I found that super exciting to know. Like, you lived in New Zealand for a while, so it's very cool.
Yeah, it was very surprised for me to find out you're actually from New Zealand as well. I moved to New Zealand, actually Christchurch, when I was 12 years old. Graduated from Christchurch Boys High School. It's a very popular rugby school, although that I only played touch. And after that, I went to Canterbury University for one semester before moving to the States. But yeah, I have a lot of love and friends and family from New Zealand, and it's one of the spots always in my heart.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Excellent. And of course, now you're based in Singapore, where most of the hot tech companies in crypto.
Yep.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and jump now into the first question. The first question actually comes from a Twitter user called Mr. Squiggle. So Mr. Squiggle asks, how does Bybit avoid the massive pumps and dumps that we see occur on BitMEX?
Okay, the wicks or pump and dumps, it's really a nature of crypto, and a lot of it is simply a buy and sell thing, and it's what the market does. So what we offer is a perpetual contract, and we use two dual price systems, so that if there is a special wick or people call it a needle in our chart, it will not cause any clients to be liquidated. We take index prices from 3 different major exchange, and only if the index price has a wick or some sort of fast-moving price action, then clients will be having some liquidations through the index price or the market price. But we also still had issues in the past where. So when you talk about special wicks, is that, for example, only Bybit has it, or only one exchange has it, and no one else has it. So we had the incidents happened about actually 1 month ago in our Ethereum, because we received a abnormal price from Kraken, and that really sort of screwed our market price up, and it caused about 400 clients to be affected. So we basically found out all the clients were affected and offer reimbursement to all of those clients who were affected. Although it was caused by external exchange, but we believe it was our responsibility to protect our clients from a abnormal wick. So that's what we did. Yeah.
That's obviously really cool to see you guys stepping in to, protect your clients in those situations. And that's actually, we've got another question. This one's from YouTube, and that is from Peter. And Peter asks on YouTube, how will Bybit save people's funds in the event of some kind of a hacking situation? Is there any kind of insurance fund like Binance's Seifu fund, or is there any kind of other sort of insurance? Obviously, you guys are able to cover these 400 clients in this Ethereum situation, but what if a larger situation was to happen? So what is the kind of coverage and the backups for that?
Right. So as it's actually listed on our homepage that if any sort of hacking occurred, that Bybit will offer full compensation to the clients who are affected. But to be honestly, at the end of the day, it's what is your internal procedure for keeping and secure your client's fund? And we understand a lot of these exchanges who have these hacking happening is due to their either hot wallet or warm wallet. We use a complete cold storage wallet, which the wallet has never been touched, the seed had never been touched internet, and it's also a multi-signatured wallet. All the founders holds a key. So that really maximum the security part, but it becomes a little bit inefficient. That is why not all exchanges use that measure. But for our clients who are mainly focused on derivative tradings, the need for withdrawal is not that significant as much as Binance and spot exchanges. So we offer 3 times a day with the complete cold storage solution. And normally that's very secure. And I don't think any other exchange who have the similar solutions have been hacked on a major case before. Yeah.
It's a very small trade-off, and I've never minded the kind of slower withdrawals. I mean, the most I've ever had to wait, I think, is like 5 or 6 hours. Obviously, you guys do it every 8 hours, and that's sort of a
Right.
manual process. So you put in your withdrawal
Yeah.
request, and then you guys process it every 8 hours to make sure that no one can just sneak in and run off with all the funds. Everything's done manually, so that's an extra kind of nice layer of
Yeah.
security there. Now, I want to actually
Yeah.
ask you a little bit about perhaps advice that you could have. So, what is your number one piece of advice that you have for new traders who are coming to Bybit?
We actually do have a lot of new traders, and that's one of the things we want to focus on. I guess this end of year, the last quarter, is to really strengthen our Bybit education program. We are talking to the educators in the space. We were talking to Creed. We were talking to Jacob Coinfield. So we have finally able to strike a deal with him, and he will be helping us to conduct online webinars for the new traders. I mean, it's very hard for the new traders to make money because especially crypto is moving very fast, and if you don't do the proper risk management, you can get rigged very fast. So we want to focus on that and really teach people how to use technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and basically do the proper risk management. Later on, we'll also be focusing on more on the trading tool part. I guess a lot of clients loves our take profit and stop loss function with the entry order, and that is a very small tool. We want to amplify on that and offer people more tools to help them to do risk management, so that it's easier for the newbies and even veterans to use as a tool to help them to trade.
So, would you say that probably bad risk management is the biggest mistake that you see many people making when doing margin trading?
Yeah, so people don't really use take profit and stop loss, and then you basically get liquidated. So
It's
that is one of
crazy.
the things we push so much on the take profit and stop loss in Bybit. Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. You have to use those risk management strategies. I mean, that's the thing. You have the stop losses there. Use the stop losses. Limit your downside. It's so important. And I think one thing as well. This is a question for you. What's kind of the average leverage that people are using? I mean, what's like is it like 7x or 5x or 3x? Like, what's the average?
Yeah. The average leverage across the board is about 5 leverage. And what's interesting is we noticed that because the big volume producers are mostly on Bybit, quantitative trading firms or institutions have big volumes, and they tend to use very low leverage, even 2%, 2 leverage or 3 leverage. So that helps to really drive down the leverage usage across the platform. But if you look at our regular retail with smaller deposits, say $500, $400, that tends to be quite high, 20, even up to 50 leverage. So yeah.
Do you hear,
So
do you
and
guys
those
hear
clients,
this? Do you guys hear this? This is an important lesson right here. Look at this. The big
yeah,
money players who are doing longing and shorting of Bitcoin on Bybit, they're not using crazy leverage, guys. Low leverage. It's all good. It's all good. You don't need to use 100x just because it's there. That's part of your risk management strategy. It's a tool. You can use it if you want to use it. But the big boys, they're using 3x. They're using 5x. There's a lesson in that, guys.
yeah.
Very interesting stuff. Okay, so let's move on to the next one here. So, these are some questions really forward looking, I think, for you about potential futures that we might see coming. So, Keith on Twitter asks, do you plan to offer any index futures? We've seen a couple other platforms bring in index futures of like, all altcoins or something like that. So, do you plan to offer
Right.
anything like that?
We were looking into, I guess, these called ETFs and combine different altcoins and all that. One of the major issue once we went down that road and planned that thing, it was who is going to be providing liquidity. As Bybit, we don't have a market making house, and we do completely matching. If you simply just announce a new innovative product, you really need to get a few good market makers or liquidity provider on board to help you with that. So that was one of the major issues we had. But I do see that other exchange is offering that, and the liquidity is getting better in that space. So I think when it's ready, we will be able to offer that as well. but I don't see it in any near futures coming from Bybit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've seen, I think it was Binance recently, they introduced daily and monthly futures contracts. Has there been any conversation at Bybit to introduce contracts beyond the standard kind of perpetual swap?
Yeah, for sure. Currently, we only have universe contract, meaning that all these contracts are using native tokens such as BTC, Ethereum to consolidate P&L. We are going to release a linear contract very soon, meaning that you can use a USDT or some sort of stable coin to trade across all pairs, and all your P&L will be consolidated in these stable coins, much like what currently BINANCE is offering on the perpetual front. And after that, it would be the monthly or quarterly contract. A lot of people have some sort of hedging strategy or arbitrage strategy between different type of product. So it is our goal to basically complete our product lines and our arsenal lines so that clients is able to use different strategies. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, when I asked people what questions would you have for Ben, one of the most common questions was, when are we going to see some new coins getting listed? Particularly Ethereum Classic and Litecoin were popular responses, but can we see those two coming any point in the near future, or any other new coins?
Yeah, that will be probably after our linear contract, the one I just said. So after our linear contract, probably Litecoin and also Bitcoin Cash. Those two have been the most requested pairs that everyone is requesting. But again, if we want to release a product, we want to make sure that the liquidity is good, and we want to make sure that we find the good partners to help us with liquidity before we are releasing this product. So liquidity is always one of the biggest challenge when it comes to a new product offering. Yeah.
Of course, of course. Will there be an option coming in the future to have a stable coin listed natively on the platform, so you can actually just move out to a stable coin in your wallet and have USDT or maybe USDC or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the biggest struggle. I don't know, maybe you can also offer me some insight. Everyone is talking about stable coin, but we were looking at USDT, but a lot of people don't feel so comfortable, or they say they wouldn't hold their money in USDT for the long term. And then you have USDC, who is also from Coinbase. And then you have MakerDAO, DAI, but they are not so widely accepted, especially Bybit is very much global. We have a lot of Asian users, and a lot of them don't like DAI. So that's one of the struggle we have. There isn't a very good solution to pick on, at the moment. So actually what we have been discussing is we will offer a function for clients to simply hedge their BTC. So instead of offering a coin, they can, if they want to avoid the market volatility, you can obviously throw in the hedge order with one leverage at Bybit, but we figured if we offer a simple function for them to click, it would make things easier for them. And then once we offer the linear contract, maybe we will have to release USDT and all these different kinds. Yeah.
Interesting. Have you considered perhaps a gold-backed coin, so being able for people to move into gold instead of into dollars?
So no, this is a very interesting question, and I believe there are many projects who's doing something similar, that basically issuing a stable coin based on gold. But I haven't seen any big demand or popularity on that, and for sure we wouldn't be doing something on our own for that. I would still classify or Bybit as a pure derivative trading exchange, so we don't want to get into something that we are not really good at, yeah, so I think this is down the road that we can discuss and see how is the general clients, how the general market reacts to that. Yeah.
Richard on Twitter wants to know, will US-based users ever be allowed on Bybit, and what are the barriers to allowing US users to come and use Bybit?
It's for sure regulations. So unless we have full regulations from the U.S., we cannot offer any product to U.S. citizens. And I think this is what generally a consensus on all exchanges, that unless you want to have the proper license and all that, then it's better to respect the rules and authorities over there to not offer any service to U.S. clients. Yeah.
It makes it very tricky, and obviously, I think recently we saw the SEC wanting to talk to the guys from BitMEX about kind of not doing enough to keep Americans off of the site. So I mean, it's a real juggle in terms of, obviously you want to access that market, but regulators have made it very difficult for any company who wants to do that, which is unfortunate. Now,
yeah,
the final question I have here for you is, how do you take on the big boy? How do you take on BitMEX? How do you, challenge, I guess, their market share to become the #1 place to long and short Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question. I actually just met with Arthur, I think two days ago.
Oh,
we
nice.
had a summit in Beijing, and it was nice to talking to him. But I think the space is growing very fast, and everyone in the space is hoping for mass adoptions, either, I don't know, through liberal or through different entries. I believe the space still need more competition, and some people call us the BitMEX killer, but I believe as the space grow and as new users come in, everyone will have their spot. And definitely, I have a lot of respect for BitMEX for inventing the perpetual swap. But what we are focusing on is really to catering the retail clients. So we might have different marketing strategies and all that. And we believe, and I believe that as the space grow, there's plenty of users for everyone to sustain their business model. So this is one thing I want to stress on. And lastly is that competition is a very healthy thing, and it's probably the best thing that is happening to traders, especially when there's no regulations to restrain on the service and the product and the execution on exchanges. I believe only through very good, healthy competition, exchanges are willing to make things happening and do the best for the traders. Yeah.
I really like that answer, Ben, because there is plenty of room for everyone to succeed in their own right. And yeah, it's the more innovation, the more competition, the better. The more competition there is, the more innovation there will be, the better it is for the end user, who will have a wide range of great products to use. So very, very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Ben, thank you so much for coming on and just, giving everyone a little bit of insight into, some of the future, some of the things going on around Bybit. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.